Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement that's built from paper mache, aluminum, and cheese. Nobody said it could be done, but I'm a maverick. What a week it's been, with event after event one-upping Idiocracy by the day. You have Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene fighting on the House floor, and two of the world's richest men working out the details for their cage match. But my personal favorite is that Donald Trump's firstborn son, the guy who uses more keys than a janitor but never opens a door, may be stopped from working in Australia thanks to a hilarious and massive petition to stop Don Jr. And I'll be getting into that, but first, this.
We have a plan that we're going to announce on August 17th, 16th, and 17th. It needs to be the biggest televised event ever. I want it to be bigger than what, Brandon? Elvis Presley, Hello from Hawaii in 1973. Bigger than what, Brandon? Elvis Presley, Hello from Hawaii in 1973.
The pillow manufacturer Gone Mad still thinks that Elvis's special was called Helloa from Hawaii, and that his latest thinly veiled infomercial Dumpster Fire will be one of the most watched things on earth. But it's no shocker his genius co-host has not corrected him, because his smooth brain cranks out such kind of Hawaiian gems as this.
Happy Honolulu, right, Mike?
Right on. All right, you guys, thank.
Happy Honolulu. It is pouring MAGA tears. Fill your mugs, have a laugh, and join us in the comments as I mock the latest and stupid from the revolving door of right-wing crazies. MAGA's favorite actor tweeted, "Did anyone on the submarine know the Clintons? Asking for a friend." Naturally, I replied, maybe you should be asking your agent why your career has also catastrophically imploded, or was making ultra-low-budget, non-union, straight-to-VHS films for your right-wing church groups your planned thespian trajectory.
I condemn the behavior of Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene fighting on the House floor. Even though I agree with the accurate use of the little B name, calling it out again and again does not help us to pretend that we are the party of family values. And let this be another reminder why we do not allow guns on the House floor. If these two were armed, the place would have had more holes than a George Santos story. If you two want to fight, do it with respect, like in a large tub of Ron DeSantis pudding, or a vat of President Bone Spurs ketchup. Could I get a bump?
Thank you. I see every tip that comes through, from pennies to dollars. They are hugely appreciated and help make this show possible. If you love what I do here and you can afford to help out, throw me a buck with the PayPal link in the pinned comment, or drop me a super thanks. A petition to prevent Don Jr. from visiting Australia in July is gathering steam, and at the time of filming this, it is just shy of 20,000 signatures. The Change.org petition is called Stop Donald Trump Jr. from Getting an Australian Visa, and the legend behind it all, Chris Erickson, states, Donald Trump Jr. is an illegal, drug-taking, bigoted person who should not be allowed to enter Australia for the purpose of earning himself and possibly his father any campaign contributions. Ban him from this country. So between July 9th and 11th, Don Jr. plans to spread his far-right trash in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane as part of a tour presented by far-right-wing group Turning Point Australia, which says Trump has captured the imagination of conservatives from around the world. That's one way of putting it. Previous Turning Point USA events have featured toxic guests that include Kyle Rittenhouse, Dinesh D'Souza, Mike Lindell, Kerry Lake, and for the Australian tour, their top-tier guests of honor will be Don Jr. and Brexit coward Nigel Farage. Tickets for this start at $89 and go up to $295 for meet and greets and $495 for backstage passes. Now, there are thousands of delicious comments here. He is a far right-wing agitator, conspiracy theorist, and election denier. He absolutely should not be allowed in Australia. He's a knob. He and his family, as humans, have a negative effect on society and do not contribute in any remotely positive way to humanity. He is a beacon for right-wing extremist fringes and a threat to democracy everywhere, just like his criminal father. We've got enough cookers of our own. We don't need to import any deranged half-wits like this one. I signed because he has showed himself to be a bad character, and his presentations will no doubt be full of unfounded statements. There is no good reason for him to come here. You know, it's just fantastic when you compare the MAGA tears to these gems like Everything is well written. There's not a bunch of grammatical errors or made up words. Australia, for a hot country, you have some incredible snowflakes. We love you. Now, as awesome as this all is, part of me just wants this fake outdoorsman to go with like the hopes that he'll get roped into some proper adventure. Let's see how the guy who hunts trapped bears with donuts does in the outback, or on Fraser Island with dingoes, great whites, box jellyfish. Now, there's something very ironic about Don Jr.'s visit to Australia, because Turning Point has grown to become Australia's leading national addiction treatment, education, and research center. So anyone searching for Don Jr. in Turning Point, Australia, are being directed to a website for addiction. And that's why the official Turning Point Australia website is just this little joke of a thing, shore.by/TPAUS. And then they had to go and create this page, trumplive.com.au. So yeah, the wannabe Scarface is hyping Turning Point in Australia, which is actually a treatment and addiction education research center. It really is fantastic. This is the Turning Point I can actually get behind. It's helping people. I call this millionaire without a tripod. This is the moron that wants to compete with Elvis and cable news.
We were meeting with our real president, Donald Trump, and then he said to come on up to the main house here, and they're having the January 6th families are here.
Wow.
And they're raising money. The president, they're raising money for the ones that are still in political prisoners. It's horrible, just horrible. I just did a little speech in there. I hadn't planned on speech, and they said, "Could you come up and say a few words?" And it was pretty. For me, it was pretty touching. I've been talking to them all. Some that were in. The one guy, he said he was in prison for 3 months in solitary for 8 days because he wouldn't take the shot, and he said that He said, "Mike, if it wouldn't have been for you in January, February."
In January, huge families. Shut up, you whining babies. They're acting like these people are the families of 9/11 victims, and they're more closer to the people that crashed the planes. Oh, he was in solitary because you wouldn't take the shot. If he was dumb enough to go storm the Capitol, we shouldn't be shocked that he won't listen to every sane doctor in the world. But I heard it on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says. Do these people have any idea how ridiculous they are? What is going on here? There is no way to position this that isn't all kinds of wrong. I don't know what I'd trust at sea less, a carbon fiber sub or a Trump-made inflatable.
Alex here, still in the bunker with Marjorie again. Good dude. Well, things got catty on the house floor, and when I say that, I don't mean like the floor in the bunker, because my beautiful blonde meat swamp has been using the litter box for over a year now. And it's one of those, like, self-cleaning ones that pushes the clumps away, so this is pretty much a non-issue. No, we are talking about the deep state house floor where she tussled with the Colorado Wildcat, Lauren Boebert. They were totally up in each other's faces, and that makes me nervous, because they are equally unstable women, and Boebert does have a very sharp chin. In case of emergency, you could use that as a tent peg, I'm just saying. But I really do love the idea of two hot conservatives throwing unwashed E. coli word salad at each other. Like, this is something I can work with. And since MTG felt like she didn't totally unload on Granny Bobo, I put on a pair of fake glasses and some clear heels. My Mickey Rourke and the wrestler skin Georgia Gremlin went to town. And I'm telling you, I stumbled on those clear 6-inch heels and fell on the futon and had MTG right up in my squirming beat face. And I had to break character. That is a cut to remind Marjorie that I can play government shouty all day long, but when things start to overheat and her last brain cell is working about as well as a Logitech controller on a Titan submersible, there is great danger of being exposed to her feet with skin so chunder-inducing that they make Steve Bannon's face look like an Olay commercial. I seriously have trouble figuring out where the toes start and where the heel stops. It looks like someone stuffed a bunch of expired TGI Friday mozzarella sticks in a pillowcase and left it behind the steaming Mar-a-Lago dumpster for Scott Baio to pick up so he could close his dinner theater show by throwing the festering sack of moldy cheese and breadcrumbs through a rusty wood chipper. Because what is the rule, MTG?
The socks stay on.
The socks stay on.
If they think they're going to lay a finger on our president, President Trump, they're going to have to come through me. And I made a mistake. I said 75 million others just like me. I think it's more like 300 million others just like me.
Sounds like Carrie's been working the graveyard shift at Jason Bobert's wood shack off the 36. Okay, so if 58 million voted in the last election, and she's talking 300 million, that's 92.8% of Americans. Like, I know MAGA are a whiny bunch, but she's genuinely including babies in this figure.
The people in this country who support President Trump, who know what's up, who know that that botched election was an attempt to prevent him from getting in office and cleaning up the corruption in our country. And I said as an aside, and most of us are NRA members. That is not a threat. That is a public service announcement.
Most of us are NRA members. How is it not a threat to tell people that you're not just going to let something happen and that you are armed? I say it again and again. The come and take it crowd are just waiting for any reason to use their guns outside of range. Any reason. Soros propaganda disguised as comedy, and I'm not buying it.
MAGA Tears.
Release the Joe bribing tapes.
MAGA Tears.
What about Biden having classified papers as a mere senator, then Hunter visiting with business partners that are foreigners? Same with Hillary. Your argument falls apart with those facts.
MAGA Tears.
Am definitely and proudly a despicable election denier.
MAGA Tears.
Thanks so much for watching. Help me out by joining us in the comments, sharing this video with a friend, and following me on social media. I am a one-man show here, from script to screen, the editing, even the graphics. Please throw me a tip with the easy PayPal link, or hit that super thanks button, and be sure to check out my mugs that go great with those MAGA Tears. I am a stand-up comedian. I've played in 35 countries, and I've toured with Jim Jefferies for nearly 10 years. I have 3 albums and a brand new EP from my opening set on Jim's latest Netflix special. You can stream these on Spotify, Apple Music, or catch them on SiriusXM. Thanks for helping me make this show possible. Life's short. Be cool, be kind, take care.